because what you do is you break down how what they're supporting is the bad strategy.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm trying to connect it to say this is really the dumb left.
yeah,
This strategy is really the dum's part. Can you break that down?
yeah. You made the point I've been making exactly, which is why it blows me away that these people who are rich, you would think they would at least have the wherewithal not to, as a rich person cosplaying as a leftist, not to upset workers by calling them dumb, right?
Right.
Because of strategy disagreements. Now, I want to pull this receipt up because I remember I played this during one of my segments bash these people. So these people, they call us dumb left because we don't want to give power to the people that oppresses us.
Right.
Pause. How is that not
that's
unhinged?
the dumb?
That's unhinged. Now, let me show you guys what the dumb left actually looks like. This is the quality of analysis that you get from Emma Vigeland, who's apparently the smart left. So, do you guys want to see the smart left analysis, apparently according to them? This comes from Emma Vigeland. She tweeted this out March 30th, 2020, when we knew he was killing elders in the nursing home. She tweeted this out when we knew he cut Medicaid in the middle of a pandemic. This is the person who's calling us the dumb left. This is her tweet. There's no denying it. Andrew Cuomo has done a very good job. If you're a Majority Report fan, how could you watch them after this? And I would say the same thing for me. If I ever tweet out anything this dumb, you guys are free to unsubscribe. I promise you, out of my countless tweets, how many tweets I have? I have a fucking ton of them. I don't show. Actually, yeah, 73,000 tweets. You will never see anything this dumb. Ever. That's why we're growing. That's why we're almost at 20,000, despite being suppressed. So let's read the rest of this tweet. Andrew Cuomo, who killed seniors, who cut Medicaid in the middle of a pandemic, one of the most corrupt mayors in America at the time. According to the smart left, Emma Vigeland, there's no denying it. Andrew Cuomo has done a very great job, especially rhetorically, in this crisis. I gotta read the whole thing. I stop every word in almost every sentence made me want to go on a rant. The way he's communicating is informative and politically savvy. He demolished Trump as the nominee. If DNC is willing to do the gutsy thing. So Emma Vigeland, she said that's the gutsy thing to put Andrew Cuomo up. Oh, remember at this time, March 30th, 2020, what was the talk that was coming from shit libs? How about we have Andrew Cuomo replace Joe Biden?
Oh my
God. Do you guys see who Emma Crowd is? She was listening to the shit libs. She was listening to Rachel Maddow, MSNBC. That's her crowd. The crowd that was saying we should replace Andrew Cuomo. He's so good. He would beat Trump. And that what killed me. They called us the dumb left. This is the same person, by the way, who, while Bernie Sanders was running, she was an Elizabeth Warren supporter. Do you guys realize that? Do you guys know that Cenk Uygur had a debate with Cal Kalinske about who should we support, Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders? Look, dead honest. The state, the imperialists, the person who voted for Trump's military budgets, voted for Trump's trade deals, the person who betrayed the movement in 2016, the person who betrayed in 2020, like we knew that was going to happen. And I remember Emma and Sam Seder used to get mad at me because I was one of the people, especially back then, I used to work on the Bernie campaign. A lot of people was upset because I was like, your guys' strategy of having Elizabeth Warren as an ally is the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. And now look what happened. Emma Vigeland promoted Elizabeth Warren, and then Elizabeth Warren stabbed Bernie in the back.
Yeah.
So who's the dumb left? Who has the worst strategies? Emma Vigeland. She was unapologetically on the Elizabeth Warren train. Like open. That was who she was. She was the Elizabeth Warren girl. But we're the dumb left. And I can go all day, but I'll start there. CJ, I'll pass back to you. But I can go all day.
Yeah, but no, those are great points. But I do want to illustrate, because I do, in the beginning of this part, I'm going to let you play. I'm going to play a little bit of it here in the beginning. because you make some great points on what exactly. I think it was at 15. Yeah, what exactly right around here, like
Welcome
the people that that's your majority report. I'll just say that they're not looking out for the working class. So we have to understand their perspective is from the working class. So when they say that strategy doesn't work, I was saying this, Nick, when you were up before you came on. So if our strategy is not to if our strategy is not to go electorally, oops, I need to stop it real quick. Not to go the electoral route, they don't understand anything outside of that. So when we say mutual aid, when we say, organizing, doing this, that doesn't compute. So to them, they say you're doing nothing. And it's like, how is that? I'm saying I'm not doing electoralism. That is that's the whole powder, that's the whole cake to them. So if you're not doing that, to them, you're doing nothing.
DJ, can I read this comment just real quick?
Yeah,
Eric?
absolutely.
Look at this, because this provided. I knew she was rich, but I don't know her biography, right? This comes from Eric. Her parents were both attorneys, and her mom held office as a Democrat. So she's literally a Democratic operative, yelling at socialists and calling us dumb left for not supporting her mama's party. That's the quality of analysis that we got on Majority Report. But so I just want to read that. Go ahead, CJ.
No, that's a great point. And that also, let me bring this up since you brought that up. And then we got to talk about Sam Seder. Like, what's his story? Now, he was fired from MSNBC, but do you think he's not being a good boy to see if he can maybe possibly get squeezed back in somewhere? You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that part. But if he still
we gotta watch
has
that video. We gotta watch that video of Sam Seder on MSNBC.
I was gonna play. I don't know what you're talking about.
We find one.
We'll find one.
So he rotates for Chuck Hayes. Guys, pause. Would anyone on Revolutionary Blackout Network, would anyone you've seen on this show, let alone us, take every guess, would any one of us be called to CNN or MSNBC the way that Sam Seder is? Ask yourself why. Do you think they called Sam Seder up because they think he's the smartest leftist?
Right.
Well, go ahead, CJ.
No, that's a great point. They feel comfortable enough to sign him to a contract.
They gave him an hour.
Right. They gave him an hour.
An hour, bro. No way. Don't get mad at me, guys. I would take it, and the first thing I would do, I would go on there like, let's do a segment about the crimes of the CIA, and I'm gonna explain to you guys how both parties they work in cahoots with each other to bomb Black and brown. I'm telling you up front, that'll be my first segment I do. It'll be 10 minutes in my show. They're like, pull the plug. Meanwhile, Sam Seder went on MSNBC and fucking Russiagated.
That's the video. Okay, then we saw the same. That's the video I was gonna play. I didn't know if I had time.
Play this video. I keep interrupting.
But yeah, but that was one of the videos I was gonna play where he was rushing. So that was the point I was gonna make, is that you see what I'm basically, and I think maybe this is what you're saying. There is a motive to why they want us people to stay invested in this, not because they think they're smarter or our strategy is dumber. It is a reason they need us to be invested. They built the same ecosystem. You know how Crystal Ball critiques, all the Washington, D.C. people, they just go from job to job. They don't care who they work for. What are you doing?
This is Carlos Gallego, friend of the show. He's going to be on with me tonight. Thanks for the $10. The progressive strategy now is to look backwards and recycle the same trash.
Yes.
You gotta know what the smart strategy is. I'm like, you dumb Carlos, you fucking dumb leftist. No, you know the best thing you can do in politics is just try the same thing that failed over and over again and support the Democrat. I'm tired of you dumb thinking that Nancy Pelosi don't have our best intentions in mind. It's insane to me. But anyway, thank you for $10.
No, but when you say it like that,
that's what it's saying.
But it draws attention to the stupidity that you're saying. Like, what do you mean? You dumb. What do you mean Nancy Pelosi is corrupt? You dumb. What do you mean she's taking insider trading tips? What do you mean you want to force the vote on a corrupt speaker? You dumb. Like it doesn't sound as dumb.
You think Biden hasn't done better than expected? You dumb. You think Biden don't care? Biden has empathy, guys. He's working class Joe, and you dumb leftists are bashing Bernie Sanders' friend. He's friends with Bernie Sanders, guys. If Bernie Sanders is a friend with him, he has to be good. Anyway,
That is
I'm
literally.
gonna read the last
literally
super chat and then we get back
Go
to
ahead.
the video.
Go
We just got these that came in last. See the change. Thanks for $5. Don't knock being educated. I am, however, also experienced in the life of poverty, which none of these people understand, and that's the difference. Yep, it's a class issue. I'm a college
she's
dropout.
right.
Rome was a high school dropout, and our political analysis was shit over Sam Cedar every day. Sam Cedar and the TYT orbit is shitting in their pants at the idea at debating social. I got 80,000 followers on Twitter. They all block me. You think they don't know who I am? You think they don't know who RBN is?
Yeah.
You really think that? Emma Vigeland was retweeting. She was retweeting.
She blocked this too. Nomiki blocked this too.
You think these people don't know? You think we just someone that they don't have us on their radar? I understand this time last year. No. But now you think they don't know who we are? They're shitting their pants. He would have set the debate with Jackson Hinkle in a second. The RBN's going, oh, hell no. Hell no. Anyway, go ahead, CJ.
So let's listen a little bit because I just like your critique here and we can discuss some more.
Oh, wait.
Oh, shoot. Here. Hold on.
My bad. I took it off.
Hold on.
Just rewind it a little bit.
My bad. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You guys got to leave super chat.
My bad, everybody. So, just a little bit here. There we go.
Debate tactics that you see Vosh and Sam Cedar use. That is not conversations. I had a debate with Garland Nixon, and me and Garland Nixon had very strong disagreements on how we achieve the liberation of Black people against the police state. He don't like the phrase defund the police. He don't like the direction the movement is going. And as someone who's an abolitionist who helped fund the 10 demands, I had a debate with him, and it was a great conversation. There was no ego because I think Garland Nixon does great work. I think he does great work. So we came as two Black men with mutual respect for each other, and we had a great conversation. You see, when the boutique left talked to us and answered to people that outflanked them to their left, immediate smug, arrogant, elite condescension. And if you think that's not rooted in classism, you are out of your mind. Now, I'm gonna get down to some of the clips here. Man, sorry guys, you guys gotta leave super chat because there's too many. I gotta get through the clips. Maybe I can get some more time later to go through some chats, but there's so much to play here. So my critique of the boutique left that has pissed so many people off, like the whole TYT crowd, the majority report crowd, they all used to follow me. Like when I used to canvass for Bernie, when I was a citizen journalist reporting on what I saw from the Black community. Hey guys, y'all forgot. You guys know the majority report. Black barbershops, preachers. Pause. You guys know the majority report literally followed me. Let's see, do they still follow me? Literally the show. So you guys think they don't know who I am? Yeah, I work for Bernie. I was very well known, at least on Twitter, as the guy who was organizing for Bernie. You guys think hold up. Yeah, look. You guys think this guy don't know who I am? And look at this. They still follow me to this day. You think they don't know who we are? But anyway, sorry, I forgot about that till now. Anyway,
for sure. All right, so yeah, we're gonna play a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna bring up that MSNBC Russiagate clip in a second too. So, but let's listen here. Preach of socialism. You guys know Justice League, the guy who plays Cyborg, Ray Fisher. I was with Ray Fisher, and we was giving speeches in Black barbershops, and I used to post that stuff. And then a lot of the progressives used to like us, right? But then I saw the class divide. I saw them fucking vote for Jim Crow Joe, one of the most anti-Black politicians in the modern era. Now you guys see how that went, right? So, and then I see them go against Forced to Vote. I see them smear March for America for All. I see them go against. They attacked our General Strike Summit. Vosh and Hassan, they did a reaction video. So I'm like, bro, there's this class, this boutique privileged class, and I saw this happening in real time, and I realized they are spending more time doing reaction videos to like Jimmy Dore, attacking grassroots activists instead of holding their politicians accountable. And that's what Jackson was telling Jackson. Why are you not holding Jackson was telling Sam Cedar, why are you not holding the squad accountable for their imperialist votes? Instead, if you look at the majority report, it's nothing but fucking Jimmy Dore diss videos. It's nothing. And I mean, that's where I wanted to stop it for the first question I had. if like how serious are you? If you like what you were getting to in this video, you were saying it's Trump videos. They're still playing the red blue game. There's nothing about police brutality. Yes, that's what I'm getting to. Like, so you're telling me this is the game we got to play to not be considered dumb? We got to make these Trump videos, and we got to talk about January 6th. We got to act like this stuff is more important than what's happening to the working class. And I think that's where the disconnect, that's where the class divide, Nick, that you're talking about. They're literally not going through these things, Nick. They're literally not.
To them, January 6th is like the most pressing concern for them.
Yes.
Man, dude, this is crazy. Finally something I can care about. They're not looking at how they're gonna pay the grocery bill. They don't have giant medical bills they have to worry about. They're not worried about rent and housing. They see January 6th. Oh my God, this democracy that benefited me was almost overthrown by them nasty, disgusting workers. The nasty, disgusting rednecks almost overthrew my precious democracy. But I actually have the Sam Cedar MSNBC video.
Yeah. If you got it, yeah.
I know which one I want to show because I haven't seen them all.
Got it, play, yeah.
I remember I played this video maybe 6 to 7 months ago, and I did not see it. I just wanted to see what Sam Cedar went on MSNBC to say, because as I mentioned earlier, the guy who even suggests booking us will get fired. David, what the out of here? You're done. You don't know this game apparently, right? So imagine if me, CJ, imagine if fucking Rome that was on MSNBC. Imagine what we were talking about. I told you guys, I'm asking the chat. Let's have some fun. If you was on MSNBC and they gave you an hour, what will you talk about? And answer that question in the chat. What would you talk about if you was given an hour? I'm racking my brain. So I'm thinking, what I would lead with is probably exposing the crimes of the CIA. I think that's probably one of the most important things that most people don't know about. Exposing Wall Street. I'll probably do a segment because I know Democrats watch it. I'll do a segment how Barack Obama tanked black wealth. I feel like a lot of people need to know that. There's so many segments, guys. I couldn't even the Cold War. I will do like segments debunking Ukraine. Like, guys, it would take me forever. But anyway, with that in mind, what you will report if you was given a time slot on MSNBC, what we will report on, you want to see what the quote unquote smart left use their time on corporate news with a ton of shit-lived boomers watching. You had this time, you can convert people to left. You can destroy the Democratic Party and all their hypocrisies like we do on RBN all the time. You want to see what he said, what he talked about? This shit is hilarious. Hold on, let me share my screen. And I'm going to mute my mic so the audio is good.
Right on.
And I'll let the video speak for itself. It's fucking hilarious. I remember when I first saw this, I could not believe it. We had a live reaction because I didn't see it before, but now I actually know what to expect. Look at this guy. This shit's hilarious.
Good evening from New York. I'm Sam Cedar in for Chris Hayes. Now, it may not come as a total surprise to you to hear that Russia is once again trying to interfere in our presidential election to help Donald Trump. But the twist today is that the Trump administration is the one that is claiming it. This afternoon, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a statement updating the foreign threat to our elections. Quote, "We assess that Russia is using a range of measures to primarily denigrate former Vice President Biden, what it sees as an anti-Russia establishment. Some Kremlin-linked actors are also seeking to boost President Trump's candidacy on social media and Russian television." Donald Trump's own intelligence is publicly saying that Russia is actively trying to help him and hurt Joe Biden. Trump campaign released a statement saying, quote, "We don't need or want foreign interference. President Trump will beat Joe Biden fair and square." But given all of the president's lies over the last 5 years, not one word of that statement is believable. Remember, Donald Trump's plan A for re-election was to get Ukraine to dig up dirt on Joe Biden and then to use that to go after him. This is literally what he said last October after the story of his abuse of power had broken and congressional investigations were underway.
Wow, I don't know if that's the one I saw, but that's insane.
He calls us the Dumdum. This motherfucker could talk about anything he wanted. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you're a leftist.
Other than that, he could have talked about something other than that. Yeah.
Anything. And he chose MSNBC. Now, let me show you guys how dumb the true dumb left is. The true dumb. Do you guys know that Russia wanted Barack Obama to win in 2012? Do you guys know why? Because during the debate, Mitt Romney said Russia is our number one geopolitical foe. And then in 2016, Russia win, Clinton win. Guys, Russia never hides this, by the way. They're very open about this because they always vote against the most insane neocon in the race.
Right.
They wanted Barack Obama to win in 2008 because John McCain was an unhinged warmonger against Russia. Right. So what Russia do, despite the fact that Democrats are harder on Russia, Barack Obama was hard on Russia too, despite the fact that some Republicans maybe, like Donald Trump was as hard on Russia as Bill Clinton, right? And I explained this many times. They choose the lesser of two evils. So as hard Donald Trump was on Russia, like, for example, trying to coup all his allied governments, he launched a coup in Venezuela. He literally gave approval for CIA financial cyber attacks on Russian infrastructure. So do you guys see how patient Russia is in hindsight? And this is, I report on this. Man, I can pull it up real quick. The CIA under Donald Trump launched cyber attacks in Russia. And that was directly authorized by Donald Trump. He literally surrounded the U.S. military around the Red Sea, surrounded Russia. He started this new Cold War. But according to Sam Seder, that guy is a Putin apologist. How does that make sense? Nothing suggests that if you look at policy, Trump opposed Putin geopolitically everywhere. In Venezuela, he literally tried to shut down the Nord Stream pipeline in Germany, a giant economic development plan for Russia. That guy is pro-Putin? That guy is pro-Putin.
See what you're doing, Nick? What I did also assess from looking at this content, you see how you're being honest and giving an assessment about something, and you're not just just telling people I'm just going to say something bad about Putin just because I don't like him. You're just saying, look, I'm not for Putin. I'm just telling you this is what happened. That's also makes you dumb left. I realize that too. It's like you can't do that. You can't do that. You're a Putin puppet because you're just giving an honest assessment to
knowing facts, knowing history. Yeah. That would truly make you a dumb leftist. That would truly make you a dumb leftist if you believe in that. And by the way, Putin didn't want Joe Biden to win because of what? What is happening right now?
Right.
Joe Biden is literally starting World War III. So I explained to you how Donald Trump was hard on Russia. Literally every single geopolitical analyst outside of the United States would have told you that. I didn't make you guys think I wrote these analyses? I was looking at literally foreign policy experts like, God damn, Trump is actually super. That's why people like you have people in academia that would debunk it, even though Chomsky debunked Russia Gate. That's how bad it was. He wrote an article a long time ago. He's like, got the idea that Trump is working for Putin. Have you guys seen what he's doing? Everyone was debunking it, right? So what Russia's done, like I explained, just like in 2012, they picked the lesser of two evils. So even though Donald Trump was bad on Russia, they was like, bro, we know Joe Biden. This motherfucker been asking for World War III since the 90s. Since he said the only thing that would provoke Russia, which they want, is expansion of NATO. Joe Biden said that on the Senate floor. And then, so Sam Seder is confused by why Russia don't want these people in power? This is the guy who gets an MSNBC contract, the guy who can't explain his audience these very basic facts that the college dropout, who's been a political commentator for only 2 years, can explain. But
he doesn't care if the State Department gets funding. So that's a detail he wouldn't know. He doesn't care about that.
But we're the dumb love, CJ. After that MSNBC segment, man. So I hope it's clear now. I hope and I don't like CJ said earlier. I think liberals mostly watch that show now. Especially the people out there on Twitter, all shit lives that like this guy, right? So I just hope left is not falling through this. But anyway, go ahead, CJ. So you got a clip.
Yeah. This is just another. So this one is when he takes a deep dive into the. He labels it the Jimmy Dore Medicare for all debate instead of calling it force a vote. He's late. He's trying to, Anyway, let's just listen to what they say here, and just let me know where you wanted to stop, because I know they're going to say some crazy
first of all,
stuff.
I'd just like to say I'm a huge fan of the show. Know me, I live for your jazz snaps, and you're like the lefty father.
Let me just say, I'm not 100% sold on the calls they air, or I'm not 100% sold that they're always 100% on the up and up. I'm just going to leave it there.
We all wish we had. I can imagine you whenever the revolution starts saying, hey, y'all can't go to the revolution because Target's closed and you won't be able to apply any sunscreen and you won't be able to stay hydrated. So for that, I thank you all very much.
Well, you're welcome, I think.
So my main point of discussion is the whole Medicare for all argument. And, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Dore. I'm much more of a fan of the ecosystem that you built. Huge fan of.
You see how he has to say that? He has to butter them up. Listen. Don't change your idea about me. I don't like Jimmy Dore. I'm not a fan, okay? He has to do all this buttering up so he can ask, so they'll at least let him ask the question, because he gets to a question where he thinks the force of vote is a good idea. But in order for them to even ingest it, he has to butter their palate by saying all this stuff, right? That's the way I'm taking this call. But let's listen a little more to the
of Nomi's show. Was a huge fan of Michael's show as well. So I love that entire community that you have. That being said, I really think it is a good idea for us to bring up that Medicare for all for a vote. And I've got a few. I'd like to discuss it with you guys.
He lost his own guy.
See what y'all think about it. I've heard a lot of the discourse that y'all have mentioned, and my main points are that right now ACA has never been weaker. Trump has been trying to completely do away with it, and Joe Biden, we know that he's going to rebuild it. So if we don't attack it from now, it's going to be really, really tough to do in the future. And the third point is that right now in a pandemic, a lot of people are losing their health insurance. I lost mine whenever I lost my job.
He's describing the working class, but remember, they don't give a fuck about the working class.
They're looking bored as hell. They're like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, get to the point.
And because of that, I think we do have a really, really strong case to make a point that we deserve Medicare for all as citizens of the country and not just as employees. And if we're able to really put it there as a vote, then we could have all of the people who are for it that we know have.
Emma realized she was like, I know body language. She's like, you don't have to rewind it, but she's really like, she was trying to pretend she was scratching her nose. But this is the point. Because we talk about body language, this is where they get really uncomfortable because he buttered them up. That was a great strategy by the guy. I didn't hear it before. He buttered them up. So they like, and the Mickey was like, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And then Shrill was like, so then as soon as he start going, they're like,
oh no!
Look at the body language. No. So I'm interested in seeing this. Look at this.
Hey, oh no! Wait a minute! I gotta think of some good reasons here. Hold on. So let's listen.
Make their point about it, and whenever it does get knocked down, which we know, this could incite that direct action that Jamie always talks about, and we could leverage that in order to really make these protests and hold our individual representatives accountable and try to force them or kick them out in the next 2 years. And
now keep in mind, before Nick, you got it here, but maybe you saw it. I remember we played a video where they were talking about Cori Bush, and the Dumdum left was criticizing for her for doing something performative, and how they were on that side. Remember? And I was kept bringing up how, well, this applies to force a vote, and you were on the opposite side. They were making these points. Now, somehow they're on the opposite side of the same sort of performative thing that could actually get something tangible. Go ahead, Nick.
Also, I saw that point. I saw you do that segment, and I have to remind you guys that Cori Bush's stunt failed. And I say the word failed because she abandoned them. So we all, like, the Supreme Court struck down the eviction moratorium, and meanwhile, Cori Bush and AOC, we're gonna be all right. They were celebrating. I remember. Do you guys remember when
remember.
they was like, "This is a giant win for us." TYT like this is. They were so excited because they were like, "The squad, they finally did something." I remember how happy they was when they finally. And then meanwhile, the people who they called a Dumdum Love, they was like, and just like the segment you just did, they were getting upset with us for us criticizing the Corey Bush and AOC because what? Look at our coverage at that time. We were saying, guys, you're leaving the job undone. People are still being evicted. The eviction moratorium extension is not done. Frank Analysis, who friend the show, he literally was on the ground. Max Blumenthal was on the ground, and they called him out. And then they got mad. They was like, "Man, you motherfuckers, man, y'all can't let us have nothing. Y'all can't let us have nothing, man." But and then exactly what was said was proven right. The Supreme Court struck it down, and they had no backup plan. Not only they had no backup plan, they went to vacation.
Yep.
And did Sam Seder and Emma Vigley and the majority report, did they do a follow-up to that? Where they was like, damn, shit, they actually did abandon the people in the eviction moratorium. I guarantee you they did not.
They did not.
They did not. Which when you see them mislead their audience into thinking that Corey Bush did something that fixed the eviction moratorium when it did not, what do you call that? That's propaganda. Corey Bush did the same thing on Stephen Colbert. I posted on my old stream, and that was one of my streams that got pulled. It's on Rumble. Okay. I did a story where Corey Bush recently went on Stephen Colbert, and they pretended. I'm talking about this literally 2 months ago. They was like, "Well, you did work. Yeah, it worked." And then the crowd cheered like, "Yeah, this is why Corey Bush is awesome. She saved all those people from being homeless." And they left out the fact that the Supreme Court struck it down. They literally completely left that part of the story out. It's Sam Seder in the majority report is complicit with pushing the propaganda that made people believe that their stunt on the steps actually accomplishing anything. But so I want to add that because I wanted to comment on the segment you did earlier. That's my comment on that. We can continue with this because I'm actually very interested in hearing the response to.
Yeah, me too. Because I haven't listened to this fully. I just knew that it was a good video. I don't remember. I watched it a while ago. But one point, now since you're talking about Corey Bush, is where Max Blumenthal became part of the Dumdum Left? Because when I was doing research on this, Max Blumenthal used to go on the Majority Report all the time.
Really?
Like all the time. He had him on. Yeah, just type Max Blumenthal and type Majority Report. It's old footage, like 3 years or more. He brings them on all the time. Like at least three videos I saw where he brought Max Blumenthal on as a correspondent and talking to him like that. It's connected to Jimmy Dore, like I was saying before. It's real. All of this sort of hatred has its root at Jimmy Dore and anybody associating with him. So what does Max Blumenthal do now? He goes on the Jimmy Dore show a lot, right? So maybe that's where it comes from. But yeah, he went on his show all the time. If you Google that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So let's get back to the video and see what their answer is to this caller. I'm gonna rewind it maybe 30 seconds just to remember context.
Make their point about it. And whenever it does get knocked down, which we know, this could incite that direct action that Jamie always talks about. And we could leverage that in order to really make these protests and hold our individual representatives accountable and try to force them or kick them out in the next 2 years. And in that way, I see it sort of like tacking and sailing, where we use the inside-outside strategy that Lula da Silva was so famous for effectively utilizing in order to really build that coalition on the inside and outside.
Man, I got interrupt this motherfucker. You're making way too much sense right now. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I gotta stop this dude right now. I'm gonna stop myself right now because I'm very interested in seeing his response to that. That caller, I was cringing at first because he was giving him a tongue bath. But man, I think he did a good job with how he framed it. Because
maybe he knew how to butter them up. He listens to him, so he's like, "Yeah, he'll let me ask the question as long as I butter him up." Yeah, I switched on that dude. This dude did good. At first, I was like, "This dude's a fucking bootlicker." This is a good job by the dude. He had a good strategy. But anyway, let's keep playing.
Kick them out in the next 2 years. And in that way, I see it sort of like tacking and sailing, where we use the inside-outside strategy that Lula da Silva was so famous for effectively utilizing in order to really build that coalition on the inside and outside.
Let me just see if I understand the chain of events that happened. Like, look, and again, just want to stipulate that I think the idea of leveraging the vote has value. Leveraging the vote for Pelosi has value. Okay. But if I understand what you're saying here is what's going to happen is this vote's going to come to the floor. Now, presumably what has to happen is 10, I think it's approximately, it depends on how many people show up. All right. The way that the voting works is this. You need to get the majority of votes for the speaker of named votes. So for instance, the progressives who go there, they have to go because if they don't go, it's still just a majority of named votes. So 10 progressives could not show up in Congress and it would still be, it would be close.
So let me just make sure everybody's following. So he's trying to make the point that these people actually have to show up because he's getting to the point to where Nancy Pelosi is going to know who didn't vote for her. So that's what he's trying to make clear here. So just let's listen to him further this point.
Be close there. Let's say 9 could not show up in Congress. And if everybody else in the Democratic and the Republican caucus showed up, I think there'd be one more vote for Nancy Pelosi. So they need to show up. They cannot vote present because if they vote present, they still have the same dynamic. It's as if they're not there.
Right.
They need to vote for somebody else. Let's say they vote for Noam Chomsky. All right. Then it goes back. There's no winner because nobody gets the majority of the voting named votes. Goes back to the caucus. They say, we demand a vote on Medicare for all. Okay, you'll get that vote. Incidentally, all of you will never get a committee ship. You don't ever.
Who gives a shit?
You see what's important?
Wow. He said it.
You're not going to get a committee seat.
Wow.
But you got forced to vote. This inside outside game, they when they say, oh, why don't we do both? They don't mean do both. Because both is electing AOC and then doing the strategy, doing the pressure campaign, not being nice, but forcing the vote and then getting your crowd, your 12 million followers to go help you. That is the strategy, not to force the vote and then go back to being nice to Mama Bear. That's not the strategy. So let's go back to the video. You can see the rest of this here. Man, he said it out loud, Nick. He said it out loud.
That's part. If I was to guess was the worst answer he could have gave. Remember I said I was very curious on what he said. If I was to get what to say the worst possible response, he just said it. I am not lying. Go ahead. I wanted the video clip play for
keep going. Yeah.
They say, we demand a vote on Medicare for all. Okay, you'll get that vote. Incidentally, all of you will never get a committee ship. You don't ever. We're going to nail you on everything. But okay, you're going to get your vote. Then the vote comes back. The full House votes on Medicare for all. The vote ends up being approximately 315 to 118, whatever it is, 305 to 118. I don't know how many, 435, but we have some that it might be excellent. So Medicare for all, assuming every single one of the co-sponsors of the bill vote for it, it loses by 300 votes. Then, according to the plan, the Democrats who voted against Medicare for all, who had already not co-sponsored the bill, that list gets disseminated. There are, 200 districts, 110 districts, let's just say off the top of my head, 100 districts, let's call it 100 districts, where Democrats voted against Medicare for all. And 2 years from now, that vote, because people are going to organize against it, is going to vote those Democrats out, and a Democrat who supported Medicare for all in. And that's the upside of this.
Wait. Let me just ask this question as to go into commercial. Why couldn't they use force to vote as a way of knowing who to target for the Justice Democrats? Why couldn't this be worked for your own strategy of what you believe should happen?
So one thing I'm gonna say, and one thing I'm gonna show you guys this real quick because I think this is very relevant. So I'm gonna just share this just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at the techniques that Sam Seder's using.
Those are CIA strategies, techniques right there.
Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. Insist on doing everything through channels. And look at number 7. Number 7 is what they're guilty of. And if you don't know, these are the CIA infiltration tactics that they use to infiltrate workplaces. They use this to infiltrate leftist movements and unionizing events. This has been widely reported because of the Freedom of Information Act. You guys see how he's using number 7? Advocate caution. Oh my! What if the vote lose? Oh my God! Right. Oh my God! Premier drop off. If we force the vote making fraud, it would be the end of our movement. Sam, what the fuck do we have to lose?
Exactly.
What is this caution that you advocating? And I'll stop myself there. I want a video to play, but I want you guys to keep this in mind. You guys see the techniques he's using? Like this motherfucker got this shit memorized. Let's go back to the video.
Yes, and let me just read this. Do you know what he's hey Nick and CJ, please cover Seder's old video of him saying he'd vote for damn concentration camps. He is that deranged when it comes to lesser. Wow. I'm sure he was being flippant, but still the analogy is pretty disturbing that you're saying you would go that far to just keep maintaining your allegiance to the Democratic Party. How is that not a cult? I don't get it, but let's go.
That's the upside of this. Have I got that right?
I would make a few different alterations to that. Medicare for all is important not only to Democrats, but it's also important to Republicans. By doing this, we really say this is less of a nonpartisan. We make it more of a nonpartisan issue.
Okay, but I mean, in terms of change, there's going to be Republican organizations who are going to primary Republican lawmakers who don't do Medicare for all. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we put it in the national consciousness, like Bernie Sanders did for us in 2016.
Bernie Sanders did
it. It's the most popular piece of legislation in the world that has absolutely zero path right now in Congress.
It's the most popular legislation in the world, and you're saying we shouldn't vote on that. You see how stupid? Just using your own words. Using your own words. It's the most popular policy in the United States, but you're advocating that we don't force the vote on that.
And think about it, guys. What happens when there's a giant floor vote that comes? Think about and this just show how intellectually short Sam Seder is, for lack of any better term. We were in the middle of a pandemic, and imagine the headlines if the squad, who already generate headlines, especially at this time, the mainstream media is looking for reasons to hate AOC, especially at this time, right? Imagine if AOC in the squad decide to vote against Nancy. That would send a massive political shockwave. Then what happens? Why everyone in the country will be asking, why didn't they vote for Nancy Pelosi? Fox News will do so. Why didn't they vote for Nancy Pelosi? MSNBC, why didn't they vote for Nancy Pelosi?
Right.
See, everybody. That would be the biggest domestic story in recent years in terms of Nancy Pelosi not being speaker and that being done because of the squad. That would have been a massive story. So then you had this massive story, and then people asking, imagine how many people would ask why they're not doing that.
They would say Medicare for all. What do you mean Medicare? Medicare for everybody? What? Who is this AOC? Let's go follow her. Then you can, it's so many different things that could have snowballed into. And you're just trying to act like he's trying to frame it as all that's going to happen. We're going to figure out who already is not for it. We already know. And then that's it. Nothing. Like, it's not going to galvanize people. Like, it's not going to do any of that. He's trying to act like it's not going to do any of that. Go ahead, Nick. Yeah,
we can go back to the video, but you guys see the point I'm making, right? think about, and I remember I asked this question last time we played Sam Cedar clip when he was talking about his theory of voting, how voting is not like a personal moral choice of yours. You just vote for less two evils. Whenever you hear Sam Cedar or anyone in the boutique left give their opinion on things, ask yourself this: how does this ideology benefit the working class? How does preventing a giant national discourse over the healthcare in the middle of a pandemic, how does that help the working class? Whenever I hear this guy, which is not often, usually when I'm on with CJ, this motherfucker gives advice that does not help the working class at all. When you hear him speak and when you hear his theory of voting, how did this help the working class? That is the question you should be asking yourself.